What's going on YouTube? Today we have something very cool. This is the Hughes and Kettner Tubemeister 36. Shout out to my cousin Abraham Miranda for lending me this amp for the review. So let's start with the outside features. First and foremost, it comes with its padded carrying case, which I will say has a significant amount of padding on the sides, and it even has a zipper pocket here. It's a nice compartment. But I will say that the straps on both sides and even the carrying strap feel a little on the cheap side. The amp is got a decent amount of weight to it, but I kind of don't feel the most comfortable trusting it by this handle here. Feels like it might tear over time. Anyways, other than that, I will say that the case does have nice padding, and it works by just unzipping this portion of it. Then you've got your handle exposed right there on the side of the amp, and you just pull that guy right out. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. As you see, this case is pretty thickly padded. It does maintain its shape, but I just wouldn't put my faith into these handles right here. But other than that, let's get to the amp. So starting over on the right side of the amp, we can see we've got the input jack, the selector button for the clean channel with its own master and gain knob, 3-band EQ for the clean channel. Then we have, of course, the crunch selector switch as well as the lead selector switch with independent master volumes and gains. And then we have the 3-band EQ that the lead and the crunch channel share, all of which are foot switchable. And over here we have, of course, the on switch and the standby switch. Alright, now on the back of the amp we have quite a few different features. We've got the speaker jack that goes 8 to 16 ohms. And we have the power soak, which can change the amp from 36 watts to 18 to 5 to 1. And you can even use that one on the far right as a speaker defeat so that you could run the amp recording without even using a speaker cabinet. And you would use the direct out, the red box direct out, for that application. It also has these little red light indicators that show you what tubes are being used. And as you use different wattage levels, it does use a fewer amount of tubes as you get quieter. And of course it tells you the bias information as well. So right here is the award-winning red box DI. This is like a DI that you can also buy as an external unit, but this is built into the Hughes and Kettner. And this thing just sounds phenomenal. We'll definitely be demoing that so you can hear how crisp that it sounds. It just sounds really good. And then over here we've got the reverb, the built-in reverb, which is very nice. The effects loop that you could switch on and off. And then we've got the foot switch jacks along with the MIDI in, which allows you to plug in the Hughes and Kettner MIDI foot switch that lets you control every single thing on the back of this amp, which is pretty intense. Just another little thing I want to add real quick is that this is considered a lunchbox sized head, but at 36 watts of tube power it is definitely loud enough to gig with and loud enough to really blow out windows with. It is extremely loud. You don't even really want to run it on the 36 watts. You'll probably have it on 18, to be honest. It's very loud. Alright, so a quick note about foot switches. You can get the MIDI foot switch from Hughes and Kettner that controls everything, but if you're not looking to get all technical with the MIDI stuff, you can get a regular 2-button foot switch. Some of them work. Most of them I've tried work. This is a PV 2-button foot switch that works just fine. And the guitarist that lent me this uses a Carvin foot switch from his Legacy amp. And they all work just fine. The only thing is that they kind of get a little tricky about how you get the channels to switch. So for example, if I toggle the green one here, we're going to be going from clean to crunch. Clean to crunch, clean to crunch. But if I only toggle the red one here, it doesn't do anything. But this will get us to the lead channel. What we got to do is we got to toggle the red one and then toggle the green one, and that'll take us from clean to lead. You see what's going on here. So we can't ever really switch from the lead, the clean in the lead and the crunch in the lead with one click. It's going to be like one or the other essentially. Otherwise you're going to have to click this off and then you'll be back at the crunch. Clean and crunch. But if you want to get to the lead, you got to have both on is what I'm saying. But anyways, on to the rest of it. The setup for today, we've got the Hughes and Kettner running through a Harley Benton 2x12 with Celestian V30s in it. And then we've got that mic'd up with a Shure SM57 going into PreSonus Audio Box USB straight to PreSonus Studio One software. And for the demo, I'll be using my Gibson Les Paul Traditional Pro. So overall, I think this amp brings a lot to the table when we're talking about features as well as tones. Now, one of my favorite features right off the bat has got to be the power soak, because it just makes the amp so much more versatile for several different applications. When you want a full 36 growling, window shattering power, then you can definitely have that. But when you want to take this amp to like the bedroom and you want to make it quieter, then those lower wattage settings are very great, because they keep the tubes still operating at a high output level, but the volume just isn't going to be that loud, and it's just the best of the tube amp sound, but with a lower volume, which is just a great feature that most amps should have these days, to be honest. I mean, you end up with a 50 watt tube amp, 100 watt tube amp, that's just going to be more power than you ever really need. In venues you play these days that are big enough where you could use that power, they're just going to mic you up anyways and ask you to turn down. So really 36 watts is plenty enough power, and most of the times you probably won't even have it on 36 watts. You'll have it probably 18 watts. You'll have it lower or something. The reverb is also very nice. I wish it had a little bit more reverb. I kind of feel like you can't super hear the reverb on the lead channel. The clean channel is very nice though. And the red box, of course, is a fantastic feature. It just makes this amp totally usable in a recording or live scenario. You could even take the red box and go direct out, plug into the PA of or straight to the mixing board of a live sound system, and just take your head. You don't even need to carry a cabinet anymore. Now you're talking very compact rigs. I will say that this amp is pretty bright the way it's voiced. I find myself having to turn down the treble quite a bit, just to kind of make it sound, well, not too trebly, not too tingy, if you will. But I will say that it sounds good through the vintage 30s, but perhaps if it was plugged into a cabinet with some speakers that were a little more mild in their tonal characteristics, then it would maybe complement the amp a little bit better. But overall, it still sounds great through this. You know, you could turn down the treble, and you've got plenty of treble for whatever guitar you're using. Every setup's going to be a little bit different and unique. So definitely got plenty of treble. It's not too dark of a sounding amp for sure. The only other thing that I must bring attention to is that this amp does get really hot. When you have it on for a good at least 20 minutes, 10-20 minutes, it's already really hot. But beyond that, it gets borderline burn yourself hot. It gets really hot. So I hear that is part of how it accomplishes is the power soak feature, but the top really. The back of it doesn't actually get that hot. It does. Don't go poking your hands back there, but the top really gets, well, hot. It gets really hot. I already said that like 10 times. Anyways, so be careful with that. You just avoid it, but sometimes if you're like leaning over and you're like trying to hit a button in the back or something, you might graze that with your arm. It can give you a little bit of a singe. It's I wouldn't say like dangerous really, but you don't really want to be resting your arm on it like this when it's on, because it will be quite uncomfortable. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you leave a like and subscribe, that would be awesome. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below and I will answer them. And if anybody's interested in what my band is doing, Reasons Above All, we've got shirts now. Yeah, it's great. The link to that channel is in the description. You can check that out. We've got some new content coming out very soon. And other than that, there'll be some more reviews coming up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.